Welcome into Factfinder Investigates. I'm Dylan Domain. We're hearing from more of you after Factfinder 12's investigation into the accounting firm Bookkeeping N Beyond and its owner, Nicole Clem. We've since learned Clem has a felony conviction for theft and forgery. Several lawsuits have been filed, victims claiming they've lost thousands of dollars at the hands of Clem. Factfinder investigator Brandon Stitt talked with victims and reviewed files to learn more.
After this scene in late March at Nicole Clem's accounting firm, Bookkeeping N Beyond, more of her former clients are sharing their story.
When I sat down with her, she just was so charismatic and warm and welcoming.
And at first, it all seemed rosy. It seemed like just the best experience, great customer service, phenomenal personalism.
Evie Androne's Bespoke Salon in East Wichita. Brandon Glenn is vice president of Serve ICT, a pest control and janitorial service. Both small businesses were in need of bookkeeping services.
She did bookkeeping, tax filing, and our payroll.
In 2020, after being alerted of a possible investigation into Clem, Evie hired a different accountant to look into Clem's previous work.
What hadn't happened was that our payroll withholdings and our payroll taxes had never been sent off to the IRS.
Unpaid payroll taxes. The same issue for Brandon and Serve ICT.
We had several letters of noncompliance from the IRS that came to me, and they said, hey, we're missing this. And it was all mostly payroll tax related.
So 2 months away from having a baby, I'm finding out that I have a $75,000 tax bill and no money to pay it.
Evie didn't have money stolen, but she did have to pay to clean up the mess she says Clem caused. Brandon also found $10,000 in payroll taxes that were never paid. He started looking into Clem's history and was shocked at what he discovered.
Nicole Clem is already a convicted felon for financial crimes.
We checked, too. According to court records, Clem was convicted in 2013 of felony theft and forgery from a case in Butler County. We also found several lawsuits against Clem. The three of the most recent cases involved payroll taxes. One company alleging a loss of more than $310,000. I've tried to talk to Clem, first at her office. I've also tried calling.
Can't take your call now.
And even went to her house. But still, no response. As for these former clients,
there are some small businesses that have not and will not recover from what Nikki has done to them.
Her charisma, it's so sad because it's such a gift that could be used so differently than it has been used.
The two people we talked to in this story did not file suit against Clem. They both paid the IRS directly. And although the situation happened 4 years ago for Evie, she says she's still getting notices from the IRS about unpaid taxes. The manager and publicist for actor Mo Brings Plenty warning you of fraudulent scammers looking to capitalize on the death of his nephew, Cole Brings Plenty. They say in a social media post that people are posing as the father of Cole and selling merchandise made in Cole's Plenty's name, image, and likeness. Now, the family has not approved the sale of any of that merchandise. It's an intersection that we talked a lot about over the last year, just west of Wichita. It's 21st and 167th. It's a place where there have been some very serious crashes there in the past. It's now hopefully becoming a little safer thanks to a new traffic control device. Factfinder reporter Brock Wilson showing us what it looks like now and shares the story of one person that's been personally affected by the dangers of that intersection.
What you see here is known as an intersection conflict warning system. It has lights to better illuminate the intersection of 21st and 167th. You know, it's not necessarily what the people that drive through here often wanted to see, but one man believes any new safety measures will help.
Some guy ran a stop sign and hit him about 60-mile-an-hour broadside.
Dave Hilger knows firsthand how dangerous the intersection of 21st and 167th is. His nephew was nearly killed there last year.
That set me off where I said, it's time. Somebody's got to do something and say something.
That something is a set of temporary lights designed to alert drivers going north and south to stop and warn drivers going east and west if there's a car pulling out into the intersection.
I'm real pleased that they got that much done on it, and hopefully this will stop that danger and then people getting killed. It's just not necessary to have that kind of danger out there.
The plan is for these lights to be temporary, and Sedgwick County Public Works Director Lynn Packer says their use will depend on their effectiveness. But for now, Dave remains thankful that because of these lights, hopefully no one else has to go through what his family has gone through.
I hope this will slow it down. I don't want to see another fatality out there. Nobody does it, but we got, I don't know how many out there. It's too many.
There was a cascade of events that happened, and, you know, that poor family had no idea.
Toys remaining on the market after similar toys are recalled. An investigation into the system to pull potentially dangerous products. That's next on Factfinder Investigates.